Namaste all, this is Omni reporting to you live on Wednesday, approximately 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Roger Williams Park. An ideal day, wouldn't you agree? At least for me it is. I'm alive, I'm free, I'm doing whatever I want, conceiving of anything I want. You could say I'm living the dream because literally this is all the stuff I'm doing now, like what incorporates my present, my here and now moment at the coordinates that I happen to be at, is all the stuff that I dreamed about when I was a kid. When I was 17, I had a vision of myself having this ideal body, you know. This is as ideal as my body can be with the genes that I have. But I've been working on things that I dreamed about that came really out of comic books and out of the Bible, you know, about being as virtuous as possible, incorporating my vices into my life in a way that I could survive, thrive, and prevail by adapting, improvising, and overcoming whatever present problems are presented. Because there's always problems, and once you resolve one problem, another one just creeps in, because that's part of life. Life has negative, neutral, and positive forces. And so, this is what I dreamed of. I know, like, I'm not taking this for granted. A lot of people may take for granted that they live in heaven on earth, but I know what's going on around the world throughout the zillion dimension omniversal dream game. And a lot of it is not something that, you know, people desire to have happening to them. And it's like the fruition of whatever it is that they've done throughout their present life, if maybe their first incarnation, or maybe like me, they're in their zillionth incarnation. So in my belief, you know, the reason I took the last name of Zillion is because I was like, wow, I've lived so many previous lives. I've dreamed so many different lifetimes. How many lives have I had? Well, it's innumerable. You know, I've had, in my perception, innumerable incarnations. That's why I call it Zillion. It's a way of trying to represent an inestimably large number or frequency. So, you know, this is me living as my ideal version of myself. I'm in dreamland, as it were, dream game land, where I really do. I have the means to, you know, travel to other dimensions through my virtual reality games. You know, on a daily basis, I can watch any subject matter I want and learn about anything I want, be endarkened, clarified, and enlightened on any subject whatsoever. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. Of course, I have injuries and stuff that have come throughout this lifetime, and I've gotten over them. At the moment, you know, knowing with what's going on in the world, I'm deflecting everything else that everyone's thinking, feeling, believing, and incorporating my own thoughts, emotions, and feelings about this ideal day. Telling myself that I am living as the absolutely ideal, perfect version of myself. So from my perception, I'm doing the ultra best that I possibly can, and thus I'm reaping the rewards as well as the punishments that go along with, you know, what other people consider to be my wrongs. So other people, of course, will consider me to be right about some things, wrong about some things. And, you know, it's like a yes, no, maybe. They're not quite sure. This is a moment where I am feeling a sense of surety or absolute certainty about my identity, what I was born for, what I'm doing now. I read the symbols of the moment, and they tell me, you know, just from my skill set, the gear that I own right now as a zillionaire, I can tell some of the things that will happen, and I'm sure there'll be surprises. Hopefully there'll be surprises for you if you're part of my audience. And they will be entertaining as well as educational, enlightening, clarifying, and endarkening, because that's what the negative, neutrals, and positives represent in a cyclical sense. Like I say, and I've said it throughout many videos, if you're just tuning in for the first time, my subject matter always revolves around negatives, neutrals, and positives, and extending and updating our frequencies in the modern world to the ultra natural. Because in my perception, in history, there have been people who have been considered to be supernatural, like the gods. They're godlike, or angelic, or demonic. They're on such a level of impressing the entities around them that they stand out as being on another level or on another frequency or another vibration different from the masses, right? So, or the collective, or the mundane, or the average, etc. So, that's the life I'm leading, and that was the life that I dreamed of when I was about 17 years old, when I was designing, what I believe to be my future. There've been a lot of unexpected surprises, of course. I got a warning, about my job that I probably have like one warning, no more warnings. If I get a seriously critical complaint, that could be at the end of my career as a driver, because Uber, I would have to have the registration and the insurance card, which I don't know that they're going to give me from Hertz. They may or may not. So that's like my backup plan there. In terms of, I realize that the numbers don't work out. I have stuff in storage, and even with my payments, if I'm assuming that they're not going to allow me, the government's not going to continue to allow me to get an education and give me money if I'm failing all the classes. But the loophole I have is that my GPA is at 0. It has been since the pandemic started, because I started my first semester during the pandemic. So I haven't actually achieved any GPA. So I think that the financial aid and the government perceives it as, until I actually have grades to, or a GPA, which is equivalent to a number, even if it's only 0.1, that they can then say, you're not achieving your goal. But since I fit into that loophole, I think they're continuing to allow me to continue to be educated on the thing that I'm most passionate about, storytelling in the present. I was telling myself the other day that I've always been taught, as an adult, that you have to become the thing that you desire to be in the present. So how do you do that? You put the I am on it. That's why God in the Bible says, when he's asked, what name shall I call you when I tell the people about you? God answers, I am. I am that I am. And so the I am is a way of giving a prelude to whatever it is people can expect about you as an entity at that moment, right? So if you say I am this, then that's what people will perceive, or maybe they won't. But anyway, so you put the I am on it. I was like, wow, I'm writing stories and creating these videos and content. I know now the stream, that I'm aiming at for my own life. So everything is orchestrated. All of my actions, thoughts, emotions, etc., are geared toward having the sensations of the ultra naturally happiest of endings, right? So, yes, I know that I use the word right a lot. Only found that out in doing these interviews myself. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm working on. And if your values essentially are aligned with that, then you too would probably want in your life to feel, like, wow, that's like the most happy you could feel, the most conceivably happy you could feel. What does that feel like? Of course we want to know. If you know that people have been super happy, and you can understand that and you can perceive that, you're like, wow, so there's another level. You're telling me you could be ultra happy in the moment? Of course I want to feel that. What does it feel like, and what actions do we have to take in order to achieve this? That's what's in it for you. If you join my organization, Heroines and Heroes, that's what the Gofundme campaign is. It's about species continuity. Attempt to save our species from annihilation, from extinction, because we face at this moment, whether you know it or not, an extinction level event. That's what's going on in the world right now. That's why they call it the end of the world as we know it, because people around the world, at least those who are on the grid, have any awareness of what's going on in terms of the news, that it's not just a pandemic. The natural forces, Earth itself is a sentient entity. And so, like I was saying the other day, the orders come from the core of the planet. All the orders, that, whether you know it or not, you're like an idea, a vibrational idea that was conceived at the core. And so there's always these energies that are coming from the core to whatever coordinates you happen to be at, that come from the core of the planet. And then all the celestial events that are going on around outer space, around the planet, are also orchestrating what's going on for you at the present moment. So with all those magnets, you can consider all those as all the celestial bodies as magnets, which have negative, neutral, and positive forces. And then they're placed in different places, and they're moving in cycles around you. And then there's like areas of chaos, like asteroid belts and things that seem to be without any known structure. You might call them abstractions. They're chaotic elements like comets shooting in certain directions and whatever. But anyway, so we're getting our orders from the core of the planet, and then that is fitting in with the celestial events that are taken around the cosmos, as it were, and the zillion dimension omniversal dream game. So, which is in the interior, the in-between, and the exterior, from our perception, at least as humans. There may be more, I don't know, not at present. So anyway, like I was saying, I'm leading this life that I always wanted to lead, best of all possible lives. But I'm a storyteller, and I'm being paid to learn to put stories together in a way that will affect our entire species, the entire world, and history itself. And so, even though all these events, these obstacles have come toward that education, like not being able to actually go to school and having to study at home where people dislike me because, you know, I'm leading the life that not necessarily they want to lead my life, but I'm leading my own ideal life, and they most surely are not. They're in varying degrees of hell from my perception, and attempting to not model me because they're like, I don't want to be like him, successful, loved, respected. People are in awe of him, and you know, they talk about him in a way that's positive in most regards, except for me. That's how my enemies think, and they act like frenemies. They're, you know, they say one thing and they mean another. We all have subtext, but I'm being authentic. So when I say something, generally, I mean, I have moments where I'm trying to protect myself. I have to tell fibs or whatever, but that's a survival. So what cause am I surviving? What cause am I willing to sacrifice my life for? Species continuity. If we were to just say, what's Omni's cause? What's the cause of heroines and heroes? Species continuity. That's what we're putting we're investing our entire lives in it. And what do you get out of it? If we are successful, each one of us as part of this organization for themselves will feel the happiest vibrational sensations throughout their body, throughout their entire self. The mind, the emotions, the invisible, the visible, and whatever's beyond that. So if you're aligned with these values, you're like, yeah, I do want to know what it feels like to be the happiest I can possibly feel while I'm still breathing, while my heart is still beating, while all of my senses still work in unison. So, yeah, I think I've spoken enough, and I have some business to attend to, but yeah, like I was saying, I'm literally being paid. You know, I'm not paying to study the thing that I want. I'm being paid. See, that's smart. Yeah, in order to orchestrate your life in such a way that you can get paid to follow your passion, which, like, a lot of people look at actors and they're like, wow, what does it feel like to live your dream? Well, if you decide to live your dream may not be the dream of being a president, or a great actor or actress or whatever. Maybe you just want to be in the story. Yeah, that was my original point, and I went off on a tangent. So I told myself, I was like, as a storyteller, shouldn't I become, if I'm going to really understand all the aspects of the story, shouldn't I first know what the vibration of the story is? So I just told myself very simply, I affirmed that I am the story. I am a story. I am a story. I am a story. I am the story. And then I elaborated on that. I wanted a specific genre. Maybe you can do all the genres if you're color wheeling. And that's what I consider my life to be. If you look at a color wheel, an artist color wheel, that's the vibrations that I'm experiencing on a daily basis. The whole color wheel. I actually have physical representations of all those colors, and I continue to purchase some and create some, meld some together, intertwine them. Like I just bought a whole new omniversal wardrobe, all the colors, from lightest and brightest to dark solid colors. All of them. I got every color that they have basically in the spectrum, which is another way of me color wheeling. But anyway, the idea of becoming a story. So I was like, well, what genre do I like? If the end goal for me personally is to feel the ultra naturally happiest sensations. Oh shit, my keys. I dropped my keys somewhere. Fuck. Hold on, I just dropped my